Peace. Back at y'all again. Kick some of this real shit with y'all. This video right here, basically, it's gonna be the first installation of a series of videos where I'm basically breaking down spirituality, from a standpoint of separating the real from the fake, as so to speak, basically. We go basically be dealing with the Bible, Judaism, and Christianity. We're gonna deal with that in regards to its origin, which is ancient African science, because there's still a lot of people out here that's not getting it. And when I say that, I'm not even speaking about people who just regular people out here living and trying to figure it out. When I say niggas that don't know or don't get it, I'm speaking about dudes who's supposed to be teachers and still acting like we don't have the answers. Let's see, what I done figured out is you got a lot of dudes still arguing about shit that we done already figured out. And I know why. The reason being, these dudes are, what's the word I'm looking for? Obsessed and making a hustle out of trying to figure out some shit. So when somebody comes along, see, they looking for glory. They want glory for sitting in front of you and making you think that the answers are not there. And I mean that on all levels, from dealing with the physical shit all the way to spirituality. Now, one thing you have to understand about a lot of these charlatans out here is this. Anybody that's telling you or is still of the mindset of fuck the Bible, or fuck religion, without giving you an explanation of these religions that they're saying fuck or don't fuck with, they're idiots. Let's get that shit straight. Because even within Africa, all our spiritual teachings took different forms. When you get to Kemet, which is Egypt, what you have is a melting pot. Because Kemet is it basically consisted of primarily those that traveled from southern Africa into Egypt, because they have artifacts, archaeological artifacts that prove that stories like the story of Heru existed in southern Africa, Sudan and all that, before Kemet rose to greatness or whatnot. And then when you start studying the mythologies of other parts of Africa that's so to speak separate from Kemet or Egypt, it's all telling the same story. Just like when you go outside of Africa, you start going into Asia, Sumeria, Mesopotamia, over here in America, Ireland, Britain and all that. It's all the same story. But in order to tie all these things together, the best thing that I suggest a person to do is to go back to the origin, go back to Africa and study African mythology and our original. It's more than just studying. You have to develop the psychology of who you once were. Because what you have to understand is that over all these years of slavery and everything that we went through in our fall as black people, the key thing that they did was take us out of our right mind. So even when we go into studying all this information, we're not even doing it from the right standpoint. You know, just like a lot of these dudes, you know, they just bad religion bashers. Instead of telling you to go and study Africa, that's like the guiding light. Once you go study the psychology, study Gnosticism. You know, look up Gnosticism. That will probably be a great key into unlocking the mysteries of you know, all these different religions, because it's all the same thing. All the religious work they weight in gold are all the same thing. So these dudes, just like with me being the Messiah, dudes hear me say that. They don't tell me straight up to my face, but they side talk. They say little slick shit that basically indicates that they have a problem with what I'm saying. And that's cool, because that's how you separate those who receive it the light and those who don't. Go check out John in the Bible, John 1 through, I'll say, just one. Go check out John. Just go read John. It speaks of those guys. So, you know, people are already, people who have came to the understanding that, okay, we've been lied to and enslaved through religion, which is true. But all they did was take your own information, change the interpretation of it, and made you start looking at or looking for God outside of yourself. Even when you go to the gods of Kemet, what we call the gods, the animal totems, you know, all the different symbolical animals that represent nature powers. Those would be more considered the gods. So we're more than God, actually. When I say I'm God, or the black man is God, the black woman is God, that's just a reference point. That's just something to help you associate yourself with what you think God is. Because what you think God is you. But actually, God or the gods are things that we created as reference points. So when you hear somebody speak about Shu, the lion god of breath, which is another form, which is where they get Moses from, that we worship. Because see, they'll tell you that at Kemet we worship all those things you see on the wall. It's not that we worship them. One of the definitions of worship is adore. So you could say we worship them in that sense. But we didn't bow down to them. We understood how to use those elements. Just like you know how to use water to clean your ass. You don't worship the water. You don't run a bath of water and then go and get on your knees and pray to the water. You get in that shit, you wash your ass. But what I'm trying to do is show you how to wash your ass. Symbolically. But yeah, all these things, man, are key components or elements of you that exist within you. That's why my enlightener told me when you know, because when I started studying, I already had an innate interest in our original way of living in spirituality before we were tricked out of it. Because ever since I was a little boy, I always knew something wasn't right by according to the way they was teaching us. You know, I always had questions. That's why I always say, man, if you got a real inquisitive child, when they ask you questions, don't discourage them or shun them or scold them for asking a lot of questions. Your best bet is to try to figure, if you can't answer the questions, try to go figure out the answer. Especially when it comes to, if they ask you something spiritual. You know, they start asking you questions. If you a church goer and you going to church and they asking you, and they're into the church and they're really listening to what's going on and paying attention and reading the Bible, and they start asking you questions about, well, how is this, that, and this, that, but this don't make sense. That's a hint for you to go figure out so you can help them with that journey. This is not about bashing Christianity or bashing Islam. This is about figuring out what all that stuff means, because it is all based on our ancient teachings, our ancient doctrines. So when you dealing with the Bible, first book, it's the Old Testament. Now, what you have to understand about this is the spook God thing. Any nigga that's still out here speaking as if he has a God, I don't give a damn if he's saying the black woman is his God. He on some bullshit. So at the end of the day, when you say that the black woman is God, or you say that the black man is God, that's like implying that the other counterpart is not God. The black woman is just a physical manifestation of feminine energy. Feminine energy is not man or woman. Just like masculine energy is not man or woman. The man is a physical manifestation of masculine energy. See, you have to take this outside of the body. Any nigga that's still talking about the body, it's about the black woman is God and blah 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 blah. He's talking about the black. If the black woman is God, which she is, but not the way that these guys make it seem as if you're supposed to adore and worship your woman, and to the black man or the man, on one hand, you're supposed to worship the feminine energy of the woman, but not in the sense of she's superior to you. It's not about who's superior and who's inferior. That's white man thinking. See, these dudes, you know, talk all this shit and supposed to be teachers and all this, but they still think from the aspect of what the white man is giving them. So this is about your soul being God or divine. That's the truth. That's what I'm here to manifest and be an example of. All the evidence that I put forth to prove who I am and prove that my life parallels these stories and prophecies is to serve as an example and proof to you, to show proof to you that I know what the fuck I'm talking about, to keep it simple. I'm not saying you have to subscribe to what I say, but what I'm really saying is you might want to. You might, you know, and then you have a lot of these dudes that's really listening to me. They acting like they not listening, but they taking what I'm saying, which is shit they didn't know at first, and going elsewhere and trying to formulate whatever they trying to formulate without paying homage or saying, hey man, go check this brother out, because that's what I do. Matter of fact, I got a list of people right here, right now, that I suggest you go listen to right here. Hope I don't leave nobody out. Some niggas I left out on purpose because they on some bullshit. So let me give y'all a couple of people to go check out. Dr. Africa, Dr. Eileen Bay, Reverend Phil Valentine, John Henry Clark, Dr. Joseph Ben Yakinen, Dr. Ben, Francis Chris Wilson, Brother Shabazz over there, Eye Opener, Asir, the Duke of Tears, for all the Moorish cats out there, Dr. Delbert Blair. Now Dr. Delbert Blair, he be on some, his shit is advanced. So I'm telling you now, you go listen to Dr. Delbert Blair. You might want to know some shit before you go listen to Dr. Delbert Blair, because he gets on some, he be on some other shit. I ain't saying it in a negative way, but I'm just saying I'll still be trying to figure out some of that shit, with the different species and shit he be talking about from different planets and all that. But and peace be upon his name, because he passed, along with Dr. Francis Chris Wilson, Wayne Chandler, and Sister Myra Moss. Now, I'm glad I wrote that one last, because this takes us back to what I was just saying about these dudes just running around. And they really, to me, if you ask me, they scamming. They're screaming that the black woman is God. But they're doing it to appease or appeal to the black woman so that they can manipulate or scam. Because a lot of the dudes that do that they've been accused of scamming women. People in general, but women, because women are a little bit more vulnerable than men. So, but even Myra Moss said it. She said, she was speaking about the rise of the feminine energy. She said, this is not a thing where we're putting the woman over the man. This is energy. This is an energy that has been suppressed due to the rule of the Caucasian. Now you have to understand, the Caucasian race is of a Yaldabaoth, demiurge, misogynistic mentality. This misogynistic way of life we've been living over the past 400 years or however long. And it really started before they even came on the scene. We started falling back in Africa. That's how they was able to come and take us over, because we were already falling off. All these years they've been ruling, the feminine energy has been suppressed in a lot of subtle psychological ways, and now it's back on the rise, but it's back on the rise to be balanced out with the masculine energy. It's not kiss the black woman's ass. You adore her, you put her back up on her throne, give her knowledge of self, you nourish her. But this is not ass kissing. I know ass kissing when I see it. You got these dudes who look at me and say, what's wrong with him? How is he conscious? And he deals with all the strippers and the quote unquote conscious undesirables. Well, the IG models, these niggas don't get it. They still looking at this shit through the eyes of moralism. I'm not saying don't have morals, don't be a fucked up person. We don't have to sit down and say this is right and this is wrong. Everybody know right from wrong. But the lines get blurred with these guys. The most powerful shit on the fucking, one of the most powerful things on the goddamn planet is the woman's body. The strip club and shit. Look, the woman is her existence parallels the physical earth itself. She's the nurturer. Just like when you come out the womb, naturally you're supposed to be breastfed. Man can't breastfeed the child, the woman does. Just like the earth feeds you, it gives you everything that you need. Plant a seed in the earth, water it. You bring that masculine energy in, which is the energy of the sunlight that germinates the seed. Now that's what the man corresponds to. And the man corresponds to the earth as well, just like the woman corresponds to the spiritual energy as well. We have both. It's just that the woman is predominantly corresponds to the. She's the physical manifestation or the microcosm or smaller version of the earth. And everything around you is a projection of what's in you. For you Star Trek niggas, Deep Space Nine is within you. It ain't no fucking, I don't believe in all that niggas going to the moon and rockets leaving the planet. Ain't nothing out there, man. That shit you see is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. The solar system and all that is called the Adam Cadman, the Grand Man. The solar system itself is a version of you, or version of man and woman. It's called the Adam Cadman. But the earth, what does the earth do? The earth has a pole that it revolves around, or that sits in the center of it. What do strippers do? They get on the pole and spin around the pole. Sexuality has been made to has been demonized. It's been packaged and delivered to you within modern times as something that is to be frowned on. When in our actuality, in our original psychology, or what we originally psychologically viewed sex, was a beautiful thing. It's how you got here. The problem with us is we've been brought down to a level so low that we view everything through animal eyes. So it's not the woman who needs to cover up. It's the man who needs to learn how to check his animal instinct and not be, as we call it, tender dick. If a woman was to walk outside naked, that's just like if a woman was to walk outside, or she was dressed, she was real revealing with the way that she dresses, or she's revealing with the way that she's dressed. You got some dudes that'll say, well, I approached her like a hoe, or I approached her in a sexual manner because she's dressing as if that's the way she wants to be approached. And that's not necessarily true. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily true. Maybe she does, maybe she doesn't. Maybe this is just the style of the time that she wants to fit in. But she doesn't want you to approach her like you need to grab her on her ass or grab her by the pussy. That's that's just the way you perceive her showing you her artful body. But the stripper spinning on the pole it corresponds to the earth that sits on the pole. The core of the earth. Which is what we peeled and drilled through to build everything that you see. Because we built this. I know this to be true because I'm one of the original souls that built this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I know I visualized and seen how all this came to be. And I'll get into that in a later date because I'm still, I get it, but I'm still trying to put it together to where I can make it easy as possible for those that listen to what I speak understand it. So yeah, it's about the way you perceive it, the way you allow. Cause I've been to strip clubs at an early age when I wasn't even supposed to be in the motherfucker. First get in there, the first time we went, you know, niggas excited just like any other nigga. I'm about 14 and shit. Now I got that player shit in me, so I wasn't throwing no money and shit, you know. And that goes, another thing I want to talk about is changing. See, now I'll go in a strip club and throw money. Now I wouldn't pay for sex, but I'll go in there and throw money just for the fun of it and to support the hustle. Because I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know, but when you use sex as a weapon, that's when it becomes a problem. When you try to manipulate the man through your feminine wiles, which women do. It's not all bad because even your wife, who can be with you for who you are and love you to death, she's still she's gonna do it too. But this whole mentality of use your pussy to manipulate man and control him nefariously, that's a problem. But do what you want to do. So, you know, sitting in the strip club, you know, you first get, you be excited, damn, she fine, and blah, blah, get it a hard on, and whatever. But then, about the second or third time we went, I was able to just sit there and just enjoy the beauty of the woman being naked without even getting horny. You know what I'm saying? Just like, damn, wow, which I still do to this day. Now, sometimes, that's how you know when a motherfucker packing a punch. 'Cause I know me, like I said, I don't scroll on Instagram, be looking at all these chicks and just be with a rock hard penis doing that shit. But some women, when you see them, they just be so goddamn fine, you start jumping. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. I mean, she, you know, when I mean, she her power is radiating. So you know, we've been taught to look at sexuality in the wrong light. And we've been taught to suppress sexuality. That's where a lot of sexual perversion comes from. You know, when you look at modern society, you go look at some old TV shows or whatever where you have a family with a son or a daughter that's coming of age, the question between the mother and the father becomes, oh, it's time for us to have that talk about the birds and the bees. See, the difference between that and how we used to be, we didn't go and talk when it was time, when we felt like sexual curiosity was rising in the children or the kid, we didn't have a talk about the birds and the bees. We went and we had a rites of passage that was set up to introduce them into the actual act of having sex in a guided manner, because that sexual energy has to be checked before. If you just let it sit there without any without guiding it, it becomes sexually perverted. and it comes out in different ways. So you have to come out of the Caucasian mentality of thinking, because we taught them and they're still learning. Just like a lot of these niggas is still learning. But in the cosmic scheme of things, we created this place, then we came here to live here, then we forgot who we were. We have to resurrect who we are so that we can understand our place here on earth. And then the people that the Caucasians came after us. They came after us. So if we're still fucked up, they're still fucked up for real, for real. They just so happen to be able to get a hold of the planet and run this shit. But we're the new day now. In order for black people to rise, which we already have, it's just now, this is just the whole thing of you waking up to who you really are. The people who were running this shit, the Caucasians who was running this shit, are people that studied everything that you left behind, which is information about yourself. So when a person knows more about you than you do, then they can rule you. That's how they rule you. They know how your mind operates. You don't know how your mind operates anymore, but they do. So they can put all your symbolism in movies and TV and music and entertainment, which is the raw that they use, and manipulate you into doing whatever they want you to do as a whole. That's what I was saying about the whole nice to what, this nice for what movement that I see. Now, women already have this mentality. A lot of them, well, not all. You know what I'm saying? I don't never put everybody in one basket. But this is a general mentality of women feeling like they have to be an asshole to men who approach them. Women are sweet, kind, and loving by nature. That's the original nature of the black woman. If you approach an original woman, a woman who is of the original psychology of the black woman, even if she don't like you or she's not interested in you, she's going to make that known in a not offensive manner. Now, if you walk up to a lady and you say, "Hey, baby girl, I'm feeling you," blah, 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 and she's like, "Oh, I'm not interested," or she's like, "I'm cool," or whatever she says, and you take that as a disrespect just because she says she's not into you, then you have a problem. But if she turns her nose up and act all bougie and shit, and say some fly shit out of her mouth, or whatever, or just totally ignore you, or some shit like that, them the fucked up women. Because that's not the original nature of the woman. The original nature of black people altogether is peace. Yeah. Anyway, going into this religious talk, you go into the Old Testament. Now, first and foremost, the God that, or the concept of God that the church gave you, or these religions like Islam and Christianity, Catholicism, and all that, this concept of God that they have given you is the reason why you don't understand what the real God is. Because you're looking for something that's like, if I told you somebody's coming to let's just say I say something, let's just say I hook you up on a blind date, but I play a joke on you and tell you when I like, you're gonna meet the guy, or you're gonna meet we'll just say you're gonna meet the girl at AHA, and I give you the description of her, but I give you the wrong description, and then I give her the wrong description of you, when she gets there, y'all are not going to connect, because she's going to be looking for something that ain't there, and you're going to be looking for something that's not there. Same thing with this whole Christ thing. That's why you don't understand my logos. That's some other shit too, the logos thing. I'll get into that in a minute. But that's why you don't understand what I'm telling you when I tell you I'm the Messiah, because what you've been taught to look for is wrong. Or your perception has been twisted. So, first and foremost, when you're dealing with the Hebrew thing, Judaism, which is just another form of African spirituality that has been perverted by people who didn't understand it themselves. And then the ones that really understood it, they kept the true understanding of it hidden, because they couldn't rule you if you knew the truth. But they know the truth. That's why when I speak about white Jews, I'm not talking about the just regular Jews who just, walking around doing their thing, whatever. No, I'm talking about the people that are in the know. You know what I'm saying? The elite, as we call them. Not really elite, but just for lack of a better way of putting this shit. These are people that know. So, they blind you to the truth in order to maintain rule over you. Because the original, the God that the way that they give you the concept of God to worship is really the adversary to you. See, that's why when in the Bible God says, I'm a jealous God, worship no other God than me. See, that is the voice of physical, material reality. It's called Yaldabaoth in Gnosticism. Yaldabaoth is the ego. The ego which is attached to the physical world, or survives through the physical world. Survives through your fears. That's the lowest part of you. The high part of you, your soul, is the divine part of you, or the God, so to speak. But the ego rules you through the physical world, which is a distraction. This is what we call the adversary in Kemet. The soot typhon, which was represented by an alligator, also a pig. Now, that's why I say you can't get too caught up in bad and good, because everything has a positive and everything has a negative. At one point in time, the alligator, or I'm going to say one point in time, the alligator has a positive aspect to it too. Just like the pig, the pig is well, the pig has a positive aspect too. Everything has a positive and a negative aspect to it. But I'm gonna speak about it in the negative right now. The pig and the alligator, or the crocodile or whatnot, in the negative, so to speak. The reason why these things represent the adversaries, because of their lowly, gross nature. It corresponds to the physical reality. The physical world is a textbook. You're supposed to learn from the physical world and extract information that further advances your mentality in thinking about who you are as a divine being, not a physical body. Just like I was saying, the earth corresponds to the physical body. The earth corresponds to the mother, who's the nurturer. your physical existence here on earth is to nurture your soul as to into who you are, or give you a insight into who you are by studying this place. That's why they say you want to know God, study his handiwork. We built this physical existence. This is our handiwork. All this is a reflection of you. So to learn more about yourself as a spirit or soul, you study the things around. You study information that comes to you through doctrines, and you can study nature. And it's so advanced that I can only go so far in telling you how to do this. All I can do is give you tips and books and introduce you into the type of thinking that led me to finding out who I am. So back to this Yaldabaoth thing, this is the physical. Okay, when he says worship no other God than me, this is just a cold way of saying pay attention only to physical material reality. That's how you are ruled by the Yaldabaoth energy. Yaldabaoth and narcissism created the physical planet, and then he created man, but man didn't have a soul. So he had to ensoul, or because you have Yaldabaoth, and then you have the Ayu Yaldabaoth, or the Ayu Elohim, which is the Christ soul. So in one mythology you have where the false light Yaldabaoth was born prematurely, or he jumped out the side of his pregnant mother's mother before it was time, and he wanted to create like her, and he built this physical existence, but the physical existence was still and lifeless. She was trying to get the Yaldabaoth to come back to her because she knew he wasn't finished yet. So the way that she done that was she tricked him into breathing his breath into what he created, and when he done that, the light that was in him, which is the spark of divinity, left him and went to live into the physical world, but it fell asleep within this physical place. And when it entered into the physical body of man and woman, it went to sleep. The soul went to sleep, but the physical woke up, and the ego woke up. But the whole key is to resurrect the soul so that you can understand who you are and come back into a divine self-deification, to understand that I'm, there is no God outside of me. I am the I am. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that is of the I am energy is connected. So when I say, if we all one, if I'm telling you that we all one, and I'm telling you that I'm Christ, and if I'm Christ and you're one with me, that means you're Christ too. But you have to come to the understanding of that to actually manifest being Christ. Because it's not about just saying you Christ just because I told you that. You have to come into the understanding of this on your own. And then you come and teach and make it manifest to others on how they can come in contact or resurrect. Because that's what the resurrection is about. The crucifixion is the soul falling into the physical body and going to sleep. The resurrection is the awakening of the soul. It's what the whole Christ thing is all about in the Bible. It's not about saying fuck Jesus and Jesus, the word Jesus has a sketchy background. But even with that, once you replace the J with an I, it brings you right back to what everything really is: the son and the mother. The I-E is one of the many names of Christ, and the Usis, or the I-E, because it's J-E-S-U-S. If you replace the J with an I, because they say I originally came from J. The letter J, it's about 700 years old. We've been around way longer than that. They say that the letter J derived from I. So what I started doing was taking the J out and replacing it with I's and everything. And when I did that with Jesus, I came up with Isus. And even when you go into that's one of the many names of Jesus and or Christ and in different in religions outside of, I think, in when you go and deal with Islam, Jesus was called Isa. Isis. So I-E is Christ. The S-U-S, the sus, the sis, the sister, the Isis. That's the mother. When you put those two words together, you combine the son or the Christ with the mother. The Christ with the Black Madonna. The Christ sitting on the lap of his mother. That's what this all boils back down to. They both are complementary to each other. So it's not about the woman being superior to the man or the man being superior to the woman. Now we can break it down into levels. Now within the physical, if you look at the physical aspect of all this, you could say that the woman dominates, because the physical realm is her realm. This is the physical realm is her realm, but she's just but the moment that you make that you bound her to just that, that's when you do her a disservice, because you separate her from the thing that brings the physical earth to life, which is the God body, the soul. So the soul. So in the physical matrix of things, because even the word matrix is etymologically related to matriarch, the matriarch. So that's another word for mother. But you got to have balance with this shit as well, because even that word matrix will bring you right back to the Black Madonna and the child. M-A is the mother. The T is the when you see letter T, that'll lose the crucifixion. So the matrix is the crucified mother, or the M-A, the mother, T, the crucifixion, and the Rex or the Ricks, that could possibly, for sure, the I and the X is basically it's I ain't gonna get too much into that. I gotta break that word down a little bit more. But the matrix and the matriarch, they go hand in hand. But you have to have the soul to resurrect the matriarch. That's why that's where the whole concept of Mario saving the princess, or the hero saving the damsel in distress comes from. The saving of the damsel in distress is what we're living in right now, which is the resurrection of the feminine energy, or raising up of the feminine energy. Just like you have a crucifixion of the Christ energy, or the Son, or the Jesus thing. When you go back in ancient mythology, the mother also gets crucified as well. So this thing, it goes hand in hand. It might be a little confusing to some of y'all, but you got to think through it. You got to do your own research to put these things. I'm not here to be your slave. I'm your servant, but I'm not your slave. You got to do your own work too. So yeah. And that's where the whole thing about the woman in religion or in Christianity and all that being evil comes from. The woman is not evil in herself, or the feminine energy is not evil. It's what's evil in the sense of how we think of the word. What's evil is having an orientation towards your life as if the physical world is the only part that exists. That's why when you go to church, churches are not built to get you in tune with spirituality. It teaches you to worship something that's not there and pray and hope you don't bump into nothing. As the great Bobby Hemmitt once said. You know what I'm saying? When you have spiritual tools and technology within yourself to protect you and bring you things that you need and all that, you know what I'm saying? That's what all the deities of ancient Egypt and Kemet was all about. If we needed rain, that's what the rain dancing with the Native Americans and all that was about. You would appeal to a particular part of the psyche of the people by showing some type of adoration to a symbol of rain or water, which would be, for example, Yemen Yah. It's a water goddess. She deals with the water. They'd make some type of appeal to her psychologically, and by this being all ran by the mind of black people, this psychological appeal would have an effect that would bring about the rain. This whole thing about just getting on your knees and dry praying, you have to understand, what are you praying to? And then it went from that to people thinking they're a little bit more smarter, saying, well, I pray to the universe. Well, the universe consists of all type of goddamn entities and deities. So you just throwing your shit up for grabs. Like I said, that's like you walk into a room and you say, hey, it's a room full of people, and you say, hey, let me use $5. The whole room gonna stop and look at you like, first and foremost, motherfucker, who are you talking to? Because it's about 80 niggas in here. And we don't know you, for one. But who are you talking to? You know what I'm saying? No, you appeal to certain deities or certain symbols to draw what you need to you. So, as long as they keep you thinking that it's something outside of yourself that is God, you're forever trapped. And that's what the God of the Bible, or the God that they give you in church, is put in place for. This is an energy that doesn't even exist no more. The Yada Broth shit. Which is just another form of you, really. You have Yada Broth and you have the Ayu Elohim. Yada Broth created the physical world. Basically, he built a house to go and live in. Went in the house to become the Ayu Elohim, which is corresponds to Ptah and his 7 co-workers, which corresponds to the 7 chakras, which are also nothing more than, because it's not about even the chakras, it's about the energy that runs the chakras. Once you balance all 7 of your chakras, you become the 8th. And we don't want to get too caught up in numbers, but I'm just using these as a reference point. When you become the 8, you become the 7 and the 1. You become the manifester of the physical body. You don't identify with the physical body. You start to realize that the physical body is just a vessel of God. You exist as a projector of this body, and you move within the spiritual part of yourself. That's why I think that's why a lot of my folks don't understand me, because I think from the God level or the divine level. When I'm moving through a physical body, but my mentality, the mentality that I operate off of is from the divine mind, not the physical mind. I operate within the context of physical material reality so I can make a living here, but I think and move with my divine mind. which is the real God in you. That's why this shit is called self-deification. You are the God. And if you can't comprehend that, then you're not God. You're just a fucking body walking around here. And that's what the Yaldabaoth thing is, you know. So when you praying to God, that the God that gave you to pray to, you're praying to a part of yourself that don't even exist no more. You trying to operate like a 5-year-old. You're 35 now, but you're operating like a 5-year-old. You're looking for the answers to questions that you have based off how you thought when you was a 5-year-old. Logically. Because even the kids are more spiritual because they're fresh from the spirit world. But you get the drift, you catch the drift of what I'm saying. So the Ayu Elohim represents the 7 chakras, and then the 8th is the pineal gland, which is where the true light dwells at. That's Awas energy. The 8, the octagon, Osirian. So when this motherfucker say I am a jealous God, because even when I still have a problem with that, because I'm like, well, shit, man, just thinking with human thought, as we walk around here, we know jealousy is a negative quality. That's an undesirable quality. We all know that. If you say motherfucker jealous, you ain't gonna look and say, oh yeah, he's jealous. That's good. Make him the king. You're not gonna do that. You're gonna be like, even if you a jealous type motherfucker yourself, you know that's a fucked up energy. So how is a God that created you gonna be jealous of his creation? You know what I'm saying? That's like me. That's like if I create a car and then I'm jealous of the car. That right there alone should show you there's some bullshit going on. But I even give you the science on that. The jealousy just represents a wanting or a desire to have all the attention. And that's what this physical world does. That's why it's so hard to do spiritual things, because you're first and foremost preoccupied with just maintaining food, clothing,